Gator is fired up. Although, is your computer not working? Is that an issue over there? He's got to restart his computer. How about that? How about that yesterday? So, we've gotten into a really dark place, and I could sense, and obviously I think the levels of frustration that people have with this Tiger team, the levels of frustration people had with this Tiger team had taken him to a dark place. It's so much so, I didn't realize we'd gone to, I hope my team loses, euthanize my pet dark place. But that's how dark it had gotten around here. And then that seventh inning was one of the most cathartic sports moments for me since 2021 Michigan-Ohio State. Like one of those
satisfying.
I mean, everybody's got those, like just an exhale, a crooked number inning.
Yeah.
Which they hadn't scored 4 runs in an inning since that Yankee game on September 10th. They hadn't scored that many runs in a game since that Yankee game on September 10th.
Oh, my God.
So it's one game, right? It was a well-timed offensive explosion in an inning. And, you know, the bigger picture, the zoom out is it's hard to know or even buy into the fact that that moment in time is the beginning of them returning to themselves, what they were for the better part of a year offensively. It's too small a sample size to draw that conclusion, but we can hope. I mean, we can hope that because that team that played the way it did from August to basically mid-July, spanning the 2024 and 2025 seasons, that team looked like a team that could win the World Series. Whether you bought in or not, it looked like a team that could play with anyone and win the World Series. And then they reverted to what was a very authentic, bad version of themselves. And then they exploded yesterday at a really, really opportune time. It was a lucrative inning. And Scott Anderson, I mean, playoff baseball's so weird because as I'm watching playoff baseball, I'm constantly trying to find ways to like offload stress. I stand up, I start watching a game in that coaching stance where I'm those of you watching on camera on Twitch or YouTube, where I stand up and I'm bent over and hands on my knees like I'm coaching a game.
Sure.
And I'll watch a game like this, and then a pitch will take place, and I'll get up and I'll walk around the room, and I'm like, it's a total stress offload. Why am I doing this? I have no idea. But postseason baseball makes me do weird things.
Yeah, after the game, when the game was finally done and Torkelson runs to first and runs out the final out, I think it took me a good half an hour before my stomach was no longer in knots. Like I just did not. I was so uncomfortable the whole time until that last out was done. And like I said, even then, I'm still waiting to unwind. And I had a celebratory beer and a shot, and I was much happier.
A beer?
I had a beer watching the game, and a post-game beer and a post-game shot. That was it. Okay. But it was
Well, then I won.
Good for you. Saturday might be a different story, but yeah. I found that to be as satisfying of a win as I can remember. I mean, I get it. People are upset. They don't think this team's going to go anywhere. They're going to get killed by Seattle. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. All I'm going to do is enjoy the next series because my expectations are low too. Okay, I'm not going to blow sunshine up anybody's channel here, dog. I don't have high expectations for them. I'm not saying they can't win because I think they can win. They've proven they can beat Seattle on the season. They can do that. It's a different looking Seattle team now than what we saw earlier. But it also erases the slate. This team has the taste of winning again.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, they know what it was like last year to not advance to the ALCS when they had a team and an opportunity to do so in 2 games and they couldn't get it done. I think it's going to be different.
Dude, the thing is, it's finding a win in game 1, 3, or 4. All paths to Tiger success in the postseason means you have to win every Scooble start. And Scooble, it shapes up to be a bullpen game 1. Scooble on full rest in game 2, Mize on 6 days rest in game 3, Flaherty in 6 days rest in game 4, and then Skubal on full rest in game 5. So if they can find a way to get game 1, 3, or 4, and look, I mean, what I'm doing is counting Skubal starts as wins, but you have to. If you are the Tigers and this is the way you're built, you have to. And so if you can find a win in game 1, 3, or 4, you got Skubal going in game 5, the deciding game. And that's really, sort of the formula, a realistic formula. I mean, look, if they win game 1 and lose game 2, and which is, there's no guarantees in baseball. I mean, and we know they don't win every Skubal start. But when you start talking about reasonable formulas, it's 2 Skubal wins and find another win in a bullpen game, a Mize start, and a Flaherty start. And Mize and Flaherty, both good. Mize ain't going to be tired. And probably Flaherty won't either. This was it's crazy because if you watched all the games, like there was criticism of Hinch taking out Casey Mize in game 2. But, I'm watching all these series. Managers are yanking pitchers and going to their bullpens quickly. That's everybody.
Yeah.
And so it's not unusual to see this in the postseason. It sure was. The 7th inning, how many people were like, oh my God, thank you. And there's probably a lot of about times. It's been a long time. But when Wenzel Perez, who was moved up in the order, was hitting a situation and was 0 for the series, yanked that ball down the right field line, I bet a lot of people around Detroit jumped up and dropped some F-bombs.
Dude,
followed by yeah.
Yesterday afternoon was a receipt game. It was not for fans because I think it was a game where the Tigers as a whole, as a team, from a manager on down, showed the receipt to the fans and the doubters and everything else. Right? It was okay. You're gonna be yelling at me about who's hitting where. I'm gonna shake up the lineup. I'm not shaking up the players. I'm shaking up the lineup. I'm going with these 9 guys. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm not going to go to the bench. Not once when it comes to the lineup. These guys are going to deliver. And those guys did deliver. Riley Green. Okay, you guys yelling at me. All I do is strike out. Fair enough. I'll go 2 for 5 and not strike out. How you like them apples? Hey, Dylan Dingler, I'm getting called out. Okay, fine. I'm going to go over the fence and give us the lead finally. And this isn't just, this is on me.
Well, here's the thing.
This is on you. This is on everybody who had any kind of criticism of the team, which was legit. It was
fair. I mean, it was fair.
Was
the
fair,
question
legit,
is,
but this is what I loved about it because it felt like yesterday's game was the one where they, for whatever reason, they snapped out of it, got it together, and then they could say, "All right, here we go. You wanted it, we gave it to you. Let's advance."
The difference is there is fair criticism. I thought some of the "he's got to go"
that's
criticism was. I mean, baseball is the worst sport for hot takes because if you do it game by game, there's an absurdity to it. I like to process baseball in like 10-game chunks, which is roughly the equivalent of one NFL game equals a 10-game chunk. No, it's not anymore because they play 17 games, but that's kind of how I've always done it. And because if you do it game to game, there's too much variability. There's too much variation. And just think about the difference between game 2 and game 3. My God. And I think there was a GOAT in this series. And we will get to that because huge part of winning it. Huge part of winning it.
GOAT is in greatest of all time or GOAT is in like you suck and this is why they won? Okay.
Yeah. We'll get to that today. 10:17. Phone calls and feedback. Tiger fans, how you feeling today? And how you feeling about the Seattle series? Love to hear from you on a cathartic Friday edition of Karsch and Anderson on 97.1 The Ticket.